Grants for Arts Projects, also known as GAP, is the largest grant-making program at the National Endowment for the Arts. In this video, we will discuss discipline-specific items, including work samples. For full information, please review the GAP Grant Program Guidelines and Application Instructions PDFs found on the Grants for Arts Projects webpage. As we mentioned in the GAP Program Description video, applications to GAP are submitted under 13 different subcategories, which we refer to as disciplines. The disciplines include Arts Education, Challenge America, Dance, Design in Our Town, Folk and Traditional Arts, Literary Arts, Local Arts Agencies, Museums, Music, Opera, Presenting in Multidisciplinary Works, Theater and Musical Theater, and Visual and Media Arts. Many parts of the GAP application are the same across all disciplines, but there are two sections in particular where the requirements are discipline-specific. The first is the Additional Items section of the application. This section is where disciplines may ask for items such as statements of support, information about publication and distribution plans, or statements from the creative team, among others. Not all disciplines use the Additional Items section. In the instructions PDF, each discipline has outlined what items they accept or require in this part of the application. Please do not submit items that are not expressly requested by the discipline you are applying to. Items to this section are submitted as text in the applicant portal and not as uploaded items. Which brings us to the next discipline-specific section, Items to Upload, where you will submit your work samples. Every discipline requires at least one work sample. However, the type, length, and content of samples varies widely across disciplines. Refer to the instructions PDF for details on what kinds of work samples to submit for your discipline. Across the board, work samples must be submitted in PDF format. This includes audio and video work samples, which should be submitted as clickable links. All audio and video links should be in the same PDF. Images should be combined into a single PDF. For example, if you're submitting 5 images, you should submit just one PDF document with all 5 images included. The images may be on separate pages as needed. Do not upload audio, video, or image samples in other formats. Documents, such as script or book excerpts, lesson plans, or catalogs, should also be submitted as PDFs. Some disciplines also request various kinds of documentation in this section of the application. Refer to the instructions PDF for details on whether your discipline allows any non-work sample items in this section. Work samples are a vital part of application review, especially as they relate to the Artistic Excellence Review criteria. Here are a few best practices for work samples. Work samples should be tailored to the type of work included in your application. For example, audio or video is often the best choice for performing arts projects, and images are typically best for visual arts exhibitions. Choose work samples that are recent, of good quality, and related to the project. And wherever possible, include work samples from proposed artists. If artists are yet to be selected, include work samples from artists that your organization has worked with in the past that are representative of the project. Less is often more. You do not need to submit the maximum number of every kind of work sample allowed. Often, a few well-chosen work samples can do a great job of conveying the artistic excellence of your project. On the technical side of things, pay close attention to the limits outlined in the instructions. Do not submit more work samples than requested or samples that exceed the time limits or page limits included. If you're linking to an audio or video clip that exceeds the time limits, state the timestamps that the panel should review. Do not submit samples that require an account to access, such as Dropbox or Google Drive. However, if needed, you may submit links to password-protected samples. Just be sure to include the password on your work samples PDF. Test your links before submission and periodically after the application deadline to make sure they still work. Due to the number of applications we receive, our staff will not be able to notify applicants if there are issues accessing work sample links. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please reach out to NEA staff at apply@arts.gov.